Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. We're here with Ryan Vaden. He is the owner of Vaden Firearms and Ammunition, and he is located in Indianapolis, Indiana. He's a young brother, age 38, and he's, like I say, he's the owner of his own firearms and gun store here. Well, Ryan, welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast, man.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm glad to be on you guys' podcast. Thank you.
Hey man, we're happy to have you here. And like I stated off camera here, I saw you in a group that we're all in, and I saw you posted that you're the owner and CEO of your own gun store. So tell us about Vaden Firearms and Ammunition.
Sure. So Vaden's Firearms and Ammunition has actually been in the works for the last 8 to 10 years. One thing I noticed in the city and the community of Indianapolis that there was not a Black gun store owner, male or female, within any radius or within even in the state. And I was just like, hey, this is something that I had always grew a passion, when I was, younger, 18 and 19 in firearms and things of that nature. And I was just like, let me start that path, on creating this business venture, that I can be successful at it, but also sit here and educate the safety and the knowledge to, minorities, and especially the Black community, on how to sit here, purchase handguns, the safety of handguns, and also sit here to be, how to acquire such licensing.
That's good. And how hard was it to start your own gun business?
In the state of Indiana, when you're the only one, it's extremely hard. My challenges that I ran through were pretty much either the lack of resource that was available to me, as a, coming from an African-American male, like, when you ask, others, people like, hey, like, how do you get started? And you couldn't be mad at them because it was like asking the question that nobody knew the answer for. And I was always brought up, if you don't ever ask the question, you'll never know. But even when I asked the question, even from, different avenues, either from a state level or from a personal level, people really didn't have the direction to give me. So I took it off on myself is to start hitting libraries pretty much Monday through Sunday. Anytime when I didn't have my kids or I wasn't at work, I was at the library studying law books, studying safety books, different gun manufacturers, different protocols when it comes to sales and resales. And I literally spent the last 8 to 10 years of my life just doing literally that. And it was just to the point of, keep building myself and also testing myself too as well with the knowledge and to retain and like, okay, this is something I can be really great in. So I was like, hey, let me go ahead and, continue on with this process, regardless if it, gets harder, I kept going. And that's one of the things that, that was really pushed to, especially by my mother. She was like, hey, it's like, don't give up, just because nobody looks like you can't give you that knowledge doesn't mean you can't get the knowledge. So I kind of just took that energy and just ran with it.
I heard you say that you offer training. You offer training for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Do you offer those type of classes?
Yeah, so the training that will be offered at Vaden's Firearms and Ammunition will be anywhere from gun cleaning classes to intermediate to advanced classes, also to tactical training that will be done at a remote location, either inside of another gun range that I partnered up with, and also on the outdoor range too as well.
Right. And let's like for kids, do you offer training for kids that's under the years of 18 years old? Because that's us Black people. When we were growing up, we were always taught to stay away from firearms and don't touch a gun and this and that. So a lot of people that look like us, they're afraid of firearms. So we need to get into a habit of training our kids properly.
Yes.
To handle these firearms. So my question is, do you offer any classes for kids under the age of 18?
Yes. So Vaden's Firearms and Ammunition has been fortunate enough to offer classes with kids with a parent of consent to offer that training. So kids, don't get scared. They're like, hey, they see a firearm with their parents and they're like, I don't know about that, or or get hesitant. And also to help build up life skills too as well. I think safety comes from the home. And if your kids see you with a firearm and know properly, what a firearm entails and what's the use of it, I think it better, help minimize safety and also any type of violence, but also sit here, it helps improve morale. Like you said, even when I was growing up as a kid, like, my parents never had a gun for whatever reasons, there was, but, it was like one of those things like, the kids that did see their parents were guns, they didn't know anything besides, oh, my parent has a gun. And I think it's really, it's like a catch-22. It's like, the education can be there, but if it's not being offered, especially in the Black community, it's hard, to expose your kids to it.
Right. Wayne?
Yes, Ryan, what would be your main role in the everyday operations of the business?
Sure. So my main role in the everyday operations of the business is the whole entire logistics from front to end. I'm literally going to sleep, breathe, and eat Vaden Firearms and Ammunition. Basically, everything coming from the customer service, also to the order of the online sales, and also ordering from my distributors too as well. But also creating an environment for customers who come walking in that, one, they're safe, they're educated, and they're confident in their purchase. So when the store opens, I'm there before you get there. When the store leaves, I'm the last one to close up.
Mm-hmm. And how, in your city, do they do this? I think you live in Indy. Do they offer incentives for Black businesses and small businesses, minority businesses? I know I don't like to use the word minority, but do they offer any of that?
To be honest with you, yes and no. And I'm gonna say yes, because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of incentives out there that they offer to Black businesses. Have I used any? No. To be honest with you, Vaden's Firearms and Ammunition has been 100% funded strictly off of me. So I haven't used any incentives or SBA loans or bank loans, if you can even think of. So I think one of the things that kind of, in my case, if I needed to use it, then I needed to use it. But I wanted to make this as personal as possible. And I feel like when you sit here and you give yourself, put everything you have on the line. And literally, I spent the last 8 to 10 years just literally taking out pieces of money that I saved up, and I was just like, hey, let me save 10% of this, let me save 10%, until I got to the point was like, okay, it's game time now. Like, let me go ahead and start, continue on reading law books and things of that nature. But when it comes towards, like I said, towards the incentives, I'm pretty sure there are, but I never reached out to any. So that's kind of like where my standpoint is with that.
Okay. Your gun training, are you prior military or prior police anything?
No, so my training comes from multiple different training classes that I have taken from other gun store owners in the past, from an instructor-based level, also to gunsmithing, AR-15 build uppers and lowers and things of that nature. My employees range from anywhere from African-American vets that have been military trained, and also have been occupational trained too as well. So my employees range from anywhere from retired police officers, also from retired servicemen and women too as well. So I do have 2 African-American women that will be on the premises all time. These women are certified trained. They're also certified and trained medical too as well, with CPR, first aid, and things of that nature too as well.
And how many employees do you plan on hiring for your business?
Yeah, sure. So right now, there's 5 employees that's hired for the business, for the in-store sales, and there's 2 for the online sales. Just because Vaden Firearms and Ammunition will be shipping online to anybody's prospective dealer or FF dealer of their choice within the 50 states.
That's a good question. That's what's going to be my next question. Did you offer online sales? I'm glad you answered that.
Yeah.
Tell me, Ryan, what would be some of the do's and don'ts of coming to your gun store?
Yeah, so definitely some of the The don'ts, do not walk into the gun store with a loaded firearm. You definitely don't want to do that. There is a very, very strict policy, but it's really clear and blank. I think it falls in line with everybody else traditional policy that no firearms are to be loaded within the gun store at any time. Also, too, as well, if the gun is loaded, whatever, and I do find out, I will give you the opportunity to go back out to your vehicle to, unload the gun and put the magazine in your pocket and take the bullet out the chamber. But also, too, dealing with COVID, which is something that is extremely hard when you're dealing with handguns or rifles or any of that nature. There's a pretty long, extensive safety precaution. So every handgun will be wiped off by store employees just to make sure we ensure the COVID guidelines. But also, too, there is a hourly and every 30-minute cleanup schedule that's also conducted by each employee just to ensure the public health and safety.
And one more question, Ryan. Can gun store owners, because I know here I see it happening and I have saw videos on the internet, can a gun store refuse to sell a gun to anyone? Do they have that option to do that? Because I know
so
that can't be a question.
Yeah, so definitely. So a gun store owner can refuse to sit here and sell to someone over many options. One option can be a straw sale. So if someone walks into a gun store and they're buying a gun for someone else that may be illegal or do not have the proper identification, I can also refuse sell if I feel like you're under the influence. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that's, like I said, and I can't preach more, is safety. Like, I won't jeopardize, the gun store or the community or their individual safety over that. So refusal of sale is permissible. Do we want to refuse sale? Absolutely not. All is welcome, but we want to make sure that it's the most safest gun store that you walk into, and also that you leave safe too as well. So even with that being said, customers will not be allowed to sit here and take their gun until they have reached to the end of the counter, which is located at a certain spot in the store. Then once they sit here and grab their firearm, they will ask, of course, if you were done with your shopping, let's go ahead and leave. Because I really want to promote that whatever you may want to get, let's say if it's gun cases that'll be sold in the store, bulletproof vests, ammunition, to sit here and we'll make the actual gun, the physical gun, your final last transaction, just so we can make sure one, that you're safe, two, that you don't, feel like you're being rushed just because, you bought a firearm and it's like, oh, now I got to get out. No, I don't want people to do that at all. I want you to be able to, spend your time, enjoy, and, be able to catch some of the educational videos that will be on 2 monitors inside of the store. I want everybody to be able to soak it up, but also I want to make sure they can leave with their purchase safely too as well.
That's good. I'm excited for you, Ryan. Daryl?
I'm excited too. It's been man. I can't explain how many hours and time, how much time I have put into this, and it's exciting and it's very motivating. Like, it's my main purpose and goal to do this was to inspire other Blacks. That was my whole purpose. This is way bigger than just me. And I tell everyone, from young men to women, I have so many young men and women, Black men in my inbox and on my emails. I think last night I counted, and I think I was at 3,000 inboxes. Ooh. And maybe my emails was over 1,200. And I was just like, and that's one thing about me. I will say this, for the folks that have emailed me, inbox me, just please, give me time. I promise you I'm gonna inbox and email every last one of you guys. But I had one guy, he was like, thank you, man. He was like, you live in my dream. And I said, you know what? I said, if I'm living your dream, let me help you live yours, and I'm gonna support you. And he asked for some tips. Hey, how do I get started? Where do I need to look at? What should I do? Whatever. And I literally gave him the breakdown. I just broke it all down to it. And he was just like, I've been waiting for somebody to break this down for me for 6 years. And I said, you mind how old are you? He's like 52. And I was like, wow. And I was like, he's like, thank you so much. And and that's the sole purpose. I'm here to inspire people, even if it's not in firearms, whatever your dream may be, no matter what your color is or sex, you should be able to sit here and achieve those goals no matter what. And if, hey, life turns out and you're the only one doing it in your state or your area, hey, so be it. But the thing about it is, once you do it, that's going to immediately open up the door and barriers, break those down for other, Blacks, to, accomplish their goals. And it's showing that. That was my whole purpose of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good, man. I was happy to hear you say that you are more than willing to help, people that look like us, because in this business, any business, when we first started podcasting and we were trying to ask people about podcasting and what do you use, what kind of microphones you use, what kind of interfaces or whatever, they wouldn't tell us, man. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't tell us. They were like, you find out on your own, and that's not the way to be. You know what I'm saying? We all should help each other and we all should promote each other. That's why we're here, my brother and I. As I told you earlier, I said we're promoting Black businesses for Black History Month, and I don't care who you are, where you are. I don't even know. I never met you before, and I saw you in a group that we're all in. And when you posted that, I was like, I need to talk to this brother here. We need to get him on the podcast and let him tell the world how he made his dream come true. You're the owner of a gun shop right now, and we're proud of you, man.
Thank you. And it's I went to Walmart yesterday and I had it was this young man. He was pointing to his mother. He kept trying to push her. He's like, that's the guy that owns the first Black gun store. And I was like, hold on real quick. And I looked around and this other guy was like, are you serious? He's like, can you take your mask down a little bit? And I took it down just a little bit. He's like, sure be. He was like, man, he's like, I'm about to go home and read everything I can find. And I was like, and if you can't find it, Google it. I mean, Google is this biggest, resource out here now to, to get, education. But, that was the whole purpose. Like I said, is to sit here and put something in the Black community that we haven't had a chance to speak on in Indianapolis and within Indiana and just without, around this country, but also being able to empower, that's what one of the things I want to do is to empower. Because even though at my end day, result, even with my employees or my customers, I hope someone takes something more out of just a firearm. Like if it empowers you and inspires you to open up your own FFL and your own storefront, or maybe you want to get into pawnbroking, or if you maybe want to do gunsmithing, whatever the case may be, if I can help you sit here and start that, then of course I will always be more than supportive to anyone's goals. I think one gentleman reached out to me in Atlanta. He was like, hey, I'm thinking about, trying to open up a range, outside. He was like, do you know anything about it? I was like, yeah, I know some things about it, but let's work together and let's see what else we can find, more about this. And he was just, happy that he had somebody to support him. And I think that's the biggest thing, like how we do with each other now, is that support. A little bit can go a long way.
That's right.
That's a good thing, man. We're very happy to to have you here on the Adams Brothers podcast. I reached out to you and you got right back to me, man. It didn't seem like you had thousands of emails and inboxes. You hit mine pretty quick. You got right back to me, man, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you coming on this podcast. And before we let you go, tell the people how they could get in contact with you. Are you on social media? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Tell the people how they could get in contact with you and view all of the things and some of the things that you will be offering when you open up your gun store.
Sure. So you can get in contact with me off of Facebook. My Facebook business page is Vaden's, Vadens, Firearms and Ammunition. You can sit here, reach me on there, and you can also reach me at info-support@vadensfirearms.com. There, I will sit here, respond back to all emails and inboxes. Just give me a little bit of time, but I promise to do my due diligence. Store is expected to open the second weekend of March on a Saturday. So that will also be posted the week before as well. So people can, have the update on, the parking, the different sales. There will be tons of sales with ammunition discounts, firearm discounts, and things of that nature. So definitely something that you don't want to miss. And then that's also, it's going to be included online. And for the online sales, the day that the opening is in the storefront is the day that the online sales and the website will be provided and ready for purchase too as well.
38 38-year-old Ryan Vaden. He is the owner of Vaden's Firearms and Ammunition in Indianapolis, Indiana. Thank you so very much for stopping by the Adams Brothers podcast and talking to us and educating us and letting us know about your business. We support you. Keep up the good work, man. And if we're ever in Indianapolis, Indiana, we're going to make sure we stop by and support your business.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your support.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.